Welcome to Just Minding My Business Media, where you can find news and views you can use. We hope this day has brought you closer to achieving your goals and that you have found joy in the process. Today we have coming to the mic Catherine Ann Clayton, who is an educator, coach, speaker, serial entrepreneur, wife, and mother. She is the founder of Bold Biz Solutions, a platform to identify bold, driven women and help them to create their businesses, make their own money, and have their own freedom. With her uncanny ability to find a person's blind spots, she is able to help women create profits and success, turning ideas into profits fast. Welcome, Catherine Ann Clayton, to Just Minding My Business Media.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much.
We're excited to have you, and thank you for saying yes. So, beginnings, where did all this come from?
You know, if I'm doing a lot of mind work right now, and I'm working with a doctor of neuroscience, and I've realized after digging a little deep more into my spirituality and how the brain works, you know, I think this started in 2nd grade, which is just crazy. But I used to paint rocks and sell rocks. And then I went on in 4th grade. I remember I would sell my Barbies to the neighbors because I could make $20 a Barbie. And I think they were like $9 back then, but I was always, you know, up leveling. And I was a Barbie freak, so I had a ton. So I think that that's kind of where it started, but where the journey that I'm on right now started was, I was a teacher for 21 years, and then I left the teaching world and to raise my 2nd child with my 1st child. And after about a month, I was like, okay, there are so many diapers I can change before I am done. I am bored. I love my children, but I'm bored because I'm really driven. And so I just dabbled in some stuff, and a friend said, hey, we've got this data entry thing. It's just going to be a part-time. And I was like, I can do data entry, please. Well, that morphed into I was with a big, huge company across America, and I morphed into finding the blind spots that were wrong with the business. It was family owned. It was an energy company. And it was family owned, and they had people selling, but the boys that were selling were never there. So the phones were being rung and it would go to voicemail. And I was watching that. So my boss, who is now a good friend of mine, he ended up saying, you can sell, go and ask for the job. And I was like, no way. Well, I'm pretty bold. That's why I like to help bold and driven women. And I walked in the president's office, asked for a sales job, and he said, well, okay, we'll try you out for a month. And so I outsold the boys that month. Now, mind you, I only sold 20 contracts that month, but I still outsold the boys who were, I call them the boys, is because let me tell you, they put me through the ringer to get that job. And then my goal was 100, and my average was between 100 and 131 contracts in a month.
Wow.
I hit that goal the 2nd month, and it became a 4.5 year career. I was the top of my game. And all of a sudden I looked back and I was like, wait a minute. I have a 9 and 11-year-old who I never see anymore because I'm always working. And what really hit me in the heart is I looked at my daughter one day when I came from work, and I said, hey, let mommy help you with that. And she goes, you don't need to help me. Daddy can. You're too grumpy and you need to work.
Oh,
Now, if that's not a sign from God, I don't know what is.
Oh my
I'll
goodness.
say.
And I believe God works in mysterious ways, because literally a week later, I got the president that hired me was no longer the president because they sold out to a big conglomerate, but he was still there. He said, "I'm just warning you, they're about to cut your commissions. They don't like that you're making so much money, so get ready." He goes, "And if you say I said it, I'm going to call you a liar, so get out of my office." So I left, and sure enough, the next day they called me in, and you know how corporate does. They do all these numbers and all this stuff. And I came home, and you can't say, "No, I'm not going to do it." And I was like, okay. I came home, my husband did the numbers, and he goes, "Baby, that's a 90% cut in commissions." And I
Wow.
was making I was making a good high 6-figure income. So monthly it was a high, 5-figure income. And I looked at him and I said, "After what Emma Catherine said, can I quit? Do what, can we do this?" And he goes, "I got you if you want to do it." And I said, "Well, Scott told me that I could start my own company. Do you think I can do it?" And he goes, "Absolutely." And I didn't have a non-compete. So I launched, I left on I got told that on April 15th. On May 15th, I walked out 5 years ago, 2015, started my own energy company, which is 3 Energy LLC. Still do that. It brings me still a good income. And then again, I got bored. Not because I don't love selling energy, but because it's a kind of, you sell them you sell a contract, and then you don't talk to them for 3 years until the contract's up. Now, I send emails and I send, happy birthdays and all that stuff, but you just really don't have to have any contact with them unless they have a problem. So again, I had all this time on my hand. I love, in this, I don't mean this derogatory at any form of the matter, but I love the thrill of the kill. And it's not really a kill, but I love sales. And I love talking to somebody, and I love helping them. In the energy world, it's saving money. And then I morphed it into the coaching world, and it's giving women or entrepreneurs the confidence that they can create something and that they can create their own money. And what I realize is that, women work their butts off making everybody else rich.
Mm-hmm.
They're working a company, and they're selling, and they're doing, and they're working really, really hard, and they're getting a tiny piece of the pie. So if I can convince them to launch their own business or up-level their own business, and I can take an idea and turn it into profits fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I do now. And, I have a client up in New York City, and he hired me, and within 53 days of us working together, he made over $12,500.
Wow.
And that is in the middle of COVID.
That's very, very impressive.
Yes, indeed.
Very impressive. And a lot of times, and I heard you say you love sales. And I'm telling you, to be able to sell, you'll never go hungry. Never.
That's right.
You can almost sell an empty box.
Right.
And if you have that knack, and a lot of people, like you said, a lot of women don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
They're afraid to ask for money.
They are. And I am still, I'm great at sales, but I want to be at top of the game. I want to be like, Gary Vaynerchuk and Grant Cardone. That's my vision of where I'm going. And I want to teach other women that. I want to teach them that it's really, and I'm learning so much more about sales because I'm diving deep into learning. And, it's really, while we call it sales, it's really enrolling a person in their own dream.
I love that.
And if you can enroll somebody in what they believe in and what they want for their life, it's not a sale. Now, are you going to make money from it? Absolutely. But it's helping them and genuinely helping them and genuinely caring about somebody else and them getting to a different level.
Yes. And I love the way you put that. Enrolling someone in their own dream.
Mm.
That is
So, yeah.
perfectly phrased.
That's, yes. In fact, I wrote that down.
I
You
did
really
too.
did that.
I wrote that down too.
Yeah, that's excellent. Because so many people don't cater to their own dreams. It's becomes secondary to what everyone else wants in their life. And that is just critical because women have so many powerful dreams. And when we do step up to the bat or step up to the plate, we create some phenomenal organizations. So here's where we come to take the rubber to the road. Can you give us a little peek at how you go about that? Because what our listening audience is hearing, oh, this is good. She enrolls people in their dreams. I like that. I need to be enrolled in my own dream.
Absolutely.
How do I go about it? How does that happen? Because I put my dreams off for so long.
Absolutely. It is really, I used to think it was about a strategy, and it's not. And my, if you look at I'm a LinkedIn, I love LinkedIn. That is my jam. I used to be just a LinkedIn coach. However, that's just a strategy. Business is bigger than LinkedIn. And whether it's Facebook or Instagram or talking on the phone, it's about numbers. And it is about, and I'm not sure if you can see this, but it's about this phone and actually picking it up and putting it to your ear like me, old timey, used to do, and having a genuine conversation. It starts with a conversation. It starts with questioning and finding out what their dream is, and not selling a product, but again, enrolling them in their dreams and what they want. A lot of people jump in and they're like, oh, well, I'm going to give you this CBD oil and it's going to help your backache and blah, blah. You don't even know if my back hurts because you didn't ask me any questions, right?
Right.
And so it's about learning how to question. It's about having genuine conversations to get them all on the call. And it's also what I've really learned in about the past 4 months is qualifying those people so that you're not talking to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And, in the beginning, when I started this, I had the energy business, and then the coaching business was a year after I started my energy business. And I just wanted to get people on the phone because I just wanted to practice. 90% of those people were trying to sell me on their stuff. And I wasn't strong enough to flip it. Mm-hmm. Today is a prime example. I was talking to a lady and I could tell immediately when I got on the phone with her that she wanted to sell me her coaching. And when I started asking her the questioning process that I go through, I flipped her immediately. And she was like, I'm going out of town for the Jewish holidays. Can we circle back in 3 weeks? I definitely want to talk to you. And she messaged me today on LinkedIn and said, thank you, and an email. Wow. So I've impacted something in her. I don't know if she'll, enroll in my program or not. I don't know if she wants coaching. We didn't get that far because it was about a conversation and building a genuine connection.
Mm-hmm. And I agree wholeheartedly. When I first started getting involved with sales, and like you, I started at a young age. I used to crochet hats and sell them. I used to, make things and sell it. So my journey of entrepreneurship started really at a young age. But developing sales is something that you really have to learn. Some people are natural at it. And for those that are not, you have to learn what needs to happen. You don't want to come at a person selling anything.
Right.
You want to come at a person with a conversation.
Mm-hmm. And I always tell my clients this, so I'm giving you a little nugget. What do you do when you have a headache? You go for the aspirin, right? Because it's a painkiller. We don't want just a pill. We want a painkiller. You need to be the painkiller for whatever pain your person on the other line has. So how do you find out their pain? Most people are going to be very surface and not get down to it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to say, oh, well, I don't make enough money. And a lot of salespeople say, okay, great. I can help you make more money with A, B, and C. No. You got to dive deep with that person and find out, what does that really mean? Because if you want to make money, I can hand you a dollar bill and you just made some money.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to go a little bit deeper. So be the painkiller of their pain and not just the Band-Aid over it.
Mm-hmm. Be the painkiller. Y'all hear that?
Yeah.
I like that. I like the terms that you use, because you can relate. And you can easily see it, visualize it.
Right.
For sure.
I'm a little dramatic and I'm a little bold and I will get in your face. And but everything I do is with love. But I will call my clients out. I had a client yesterday and she didn't do what she was supposed to in 2 weeks. And I'm like, why are you paying me? I said, because if you're not going to do your work, then you don't need to continue to pay me, and I don't need to continue to pay to take your money. Mm-hmm. And she was like, really? And I was like, and then I went all the way back to where we first talked 2 months ago and said, this was your dream. And you've given up on your dream, and that's okay if you have. I'm not trying to make you wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay if you have, but just be honest with yourself and be honest with me that you don't want that anymore.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, oh, no, I want it. And I said, well, your actions aren't showing it.
Oops.
And then she said, I hate you when you do this to me, because now I'm going to work.
But that's the beauty of it. That is absolutely, because actually she was stalled. She had gotten stalled or sidetracked.
And she got stalled. She blamed it on procrastination. She blamed it on, I don't know what to do. She knows what to do. I've laid a roadmap out for her.
Uh-huh.
We let all these, what I call nuts in your brain. You want to know what a nut is?
Yeah.
A negative, undesirable thought.
Oh.
All right, I like that.
Another
Write
goodie.
that one down. Nuts.
Those nuts come in your brain and start messing it up and telling you that you can't do it.
Yep. And that's all the time.
All the
time. Oh my
time.
goodness, all the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
As soon as you come up with something, because thoughts come in pairs, positive and negative. So as soon as you come up with something, here come the nut.
Here comes the nuts. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and you've got, it's very interesting. For every positive thought, for every negative thought, you have to have 7 positive thoughts brain-wise to get rid of that negative thought.
Okay.
Wow.
So it's a matter of building.
It is a process, and it's switching your brain. Absolutely.
Ooh. And that is an interesting concept.
Yeah.
Because most of us get into our little negative thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And we just go our merry way. I call it the squirrel cage. It's funny that you talk about nuts. I call it that squirrel cage, where you all of a sudden your thoughts were 1 minute so positive and excited and forward moving, and then a day later something happens and you're off and running with this long train of nuts. You're just spreading nuts everywhere.
Absolutely.
And it's hard to pull back. Because that thinking puts you in a place where all of a sudden you're just sort of emotionally drained, You almost don't even believe what you believed in a day ago. So that is, I love that. Negative, what is that? Negative,
undesired thoughts.
Negative, undesired thoughts.
Okay, let me make sure I get that coined right.
And it's interesting because and also it takes 67 days to flip a switch in your brain.
Okay.
So I took out on a journey 37 days ago and said, I'm going to start running again. Okay. I I am almost 55 years old and overweight, and everything about this, I should not be out there running. But I want you to know that in the beginning, now if you live next to me, you would think I was crazy because I run in the middle of the street because it makes me feel powerful. Now, I'm in the neighborhood, but I feel like Rocky. And I do it early in the morning that I just kind of move with the cars, you know. And, in the beginning, I would yell out, you know, my thought was, you're too tired, you need to quit. You need to And I'd be like, stop it. You nuts, stop. I'm not tired. I have energy. And now, today, I want you to know, I ran 2 miles without stopping. I don't even think any of those negative thoughts came in. Because I was like, I can do it. I can do this. I have energy. I can do this.
Wow.
Do I like doing it yet? Absolutely not. But I've made a commitment to hit 67 days.
Wow.
Okay, so 67 days is a good marker.
Yes, it is.
For an accomplishment. Any small, and that's not a small goal, but it's one of the things that I think a lot of people are struggling with. In fact, I've heard myself saying it. And part of it is the pandemic and being closed down, shut down, all of that I get tired more easily. And it's like, you know I'm not tired. I know I'm not tired. So what's going on? So that's one of those nuts that I have to crack.
Well, and every morning I wrote out I am statements or I have. And I record it on my phone. It's called voice recorder. If anybody wants to get it, I punch it. I wrote them all out and I recorded it. And every morning I sit in silence in the dark and I push the button and it says, you know, I am a coach. I add value to all my clients. I have energy to last throughout the day. And that is flipping that brain switch into getting rid of those negative thoughts.
Yes.
Now here's the interesting, what I'm thinking that's so interesting. Again, we started talking about sales, you know, your history. And most of us, if we really recognize it, we're always in the process of sales. But somewhere along the line, we back out of it. We literally back out of selling. You know, it's like, oh, I have this wonderful idea. And then we back out of selling to ourselves. We actually stop selling our own ideas to ourselves. And what you just said is so important, that we write down who we want to be, what we want to accomplish, so that affirmations are another way of selling to ourselves, to replace that place where we run to. Yeah, and it's called fear. But I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, and every day you're selling. I mean, think about it. Now, you know, I had children late in life, so now I have a 14 and 16-year-old. I'm selling them on what we're going to do on Friday night. I'm selling them on the Mexican restaurant that they don't like to go to, but it's mommy's pick. And so I'm going to enroll them in what's going to happen if we go there. Or if there's a movie that they want to go to one movie and I want to go to the other, or my husband wants to go, we're constantly enrolling people in our ideas. I mean, you know, I've enrolled my husband on some things that he was like, wait a minute. You just enrolled me in that, you know. So, but you go back to that dream, and how awesome is it going to be when we go from here to here, and I have to enroll him before I do something. And so it works with you know, I'm ready. I do it with my mom. We're taking a cruise for Thanksgiving, and we're taking my mom, and you know, we've enrolled her in a couple of the excursions that she doesn't want to do. You know, we've had to enroll her on, hey, this will be good because you're going to be with the whole family and the kids, and you know, no, we don't want you to get on the ATV, but you need to go out there with us. You know, think of the memories you're creating, and I say, and you're old and you're not getting any younger. Laughs, you know, and I said, you know, the kids are going to remember this, and blah 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 blah, and you know, so she's like, okay, I think that's a great idea. Yeah. So I just sold to her without getting a money exchange.
Yeah, and you gave her, this is what you can do with this. This is what you'll have if you do this.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So
And
you
those
have
memories.
to show them what's in it for me.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Wow. I love your style.
Because
yes.
we never know, everybody's like, I don't have enough time. And that's the thing that people use as an excuse to not get things done.
Mm-hmm.
Quite honestly, we don't know how much time we have.
That's right.
Only the Lord Jesus upstairs knows what time we have.
Mhm.
And so if you wait, it may be too late. So jump in now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my dad passed away 2 years ago and he was 89. And do you know that he had enrolled in a college course and was taking a college course at the junior college in our hometown at 89?
That's awesome.
And he goes, it took me a long time to get to the classroom, but I just left a little bit early. I'm like, because he was always learning.
Mm-hmm.
And, his brain, even till the last breath, and I was there when he took it, his brain was right there. But his body just gave out.
Exactly. And that is a crucial comment for our listening audience, to recognize that our bodies do get old, but our brain can continue to thrive.
Absolutely.
It depends on what we feed it. And if we're sitting in front of a television, that's not going to work. We need to feed our brain, because our brain is active right to the last second.
Yeah.
Our brain is active to the last second. So when we actually feed our brain, and this is especially important as we get older, that we do that. We make a commitment, learn a language, take a college course, do something.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's was your father a salesman?
No, well, he owned a real estate company, so I guess he was.
Oh, okay.
But he's not as vivacious as I am. He's very quiet, like my husband, and he never judged us, and he never really had an opinion of what we did. But when he spoke, you listened.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes he would get really mad at me and say, I don't like what you said to your mother, and it was wrong, and you need to apologize. And then I knew that I needed to apologize, because I could push him pretty far. There was 5 of us, and I was the baby and only girl out of 5. So I got away with quite a bit, but there were times where he was like, I'm done. You need to stop, and you need to be respectful. Now I look at it and I'm like, God, you should have just killed me back then. he owned a real estate and appraisal company, so I guess he was a salesperson.
Interesting.
I guess so.
Very interesting.
Never even thought of that. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
So before we move any further, how can people connect with you?
I am on LinkedIn, Catherine Ann Clayton, and I go by both names. And I'm on Facebook at, Catherine Ann Clayton, and I do have a business page, Catherine Ann Clayton.
Okay.
So you can find me on LinkedIn. If y'all want me to send links or anything to y'all, I can do that.
Yes.
And I just opened an Instagram account, Bold Biz Solutions, BIZ.
Okay.
Okay.
Just opened that, and we're going to get that rocking and rolling.
Excellent.
Right.
And YouTube, it's Catherine Ann Clayton.
Oh, and
okay. I know that's
you're
right.
Everywhere. All right.
Who's going to forget your name? No one.
Absolutely.
I hope not. So, and it's Catherine with a C.
Okay.
Yes, this is, I've got some nice little, the nut. What else do I have? 67 days to flip the switch in the brain. So I hope everybody is really taking some good notes here, because Catherine has given us some awesome stuff to simmer on, what I like to say. And this is just great. So if people want to enroll into your program, how does that work?
I have a calendar, and you can schedule on my calendar, and then we'll just have a conversation. Okay. And I will, I do want to offer this, if you don't mind. Anybody that is watching this show And because I want to support you guys as well. If you watch the show and you find me on LinkedIn or Facebook and you say, I heard you on Just Minding My Business podcast. And if you tell me that, I will give you a free 30-minute consultation. And then
Awesome.
So that way you can share it with your friends, and you guys will hopefully get some more listeners out of that. And then I'll do that free 30-minute consultation for them.
That is
But
awesome.
you gotta share it. You gotta find me, and you gotta say, hey, I heard you on Just Minding Your Business podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. That's
Thank you
awesome.
so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Yes, and I just believe in my heart, you want to connect with this lady. She is definitely on to something, and we all need. And the sales piece is just phenomenal because so many people are scared to ask for money.
Absolutely.
Because they don't know how.
Well, and I would tell you, a lot of people are scared, and the excuse is COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you that the first 3 weeks in COVID, I tripled my business.
Wow.
Huh.
And that's with people saying, I don't have any money.
Well, that's a big piece. Thank you for putting that out there, because that is exactly it. So many people are saying, oh, it's COVID. I can't charge people for
Right.
this, that, and the other because nobody has any money. That's not true.
No, it's not true.
No, it's not
Other
true at
issues.
all.
There's always, thing about money is that money flows.
Mm-hmm.
It flows from one place to the other.
Right.
If you're holding up your hands and saying, I don't have any money, I don't have it, you're literally saying, I don't want it. So
Right.
you're creating, again, that mind thing of you're creating a block for yourself.
Yes, exactly.
So what you said was just the reverse. Oh, it's COVID-19. I'm going to get to work. And
Yeah, I was like, it's time to go get it.
That's
what I said.
It's time to go get it.
I
Now I think what's happening is I don't know about men, but I think a lot of women have turned that corner. Maybe because they have children, maybe because their husband's out of work. All of a sudden, there are all kinds of things coming up that women are doing. And what's interesting is the ones that are leading the charge are women who are over 50.
Well, that is me.
That is
The
us.
women over 50,
Yes.
going into their 70s and 80s. They're the ones who are leading the charge.
Absolutely.
And I
And
think
it's amazing.
And I think it's because we done been through life a little bit. We already know how not to be apologetic about what we want to do.
Yeah.
We've already earned the right to be who we want to be. And we just have women over 50 have a different attitude, most women, about life because they've seen a thing or two.
Absolutely.
So and it's so funny. Everybody that I'm dealing with over 50 is pretty much doing the darn thing.
Well, and I always tell my clients, they're like, well, I'm pivoting, and everybody's using this word pivot. So tell me, ladies, what happens if you stand up, and I know we're on a podcast, so you can't see, but if you stand up and I say pivot, what are you going to do?
You're going to turn around.
Okay, and I say pivot again.
You're going to turn again.
And pivot. You're going to keep going in circles. It's time to stand up and shift.
I love that.
Yes. Stand up and shift.
I love that. Yes, because that's what's necessary.
Yep.
It is. Stop pivoting. Get over the pivot. Don't read books about pivoting. Start shifting what you're doing.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
That's a huge difference.
That's
paradigm shift.
Look,
I'll
use my
notebook. All right. Yay.
I got a whole bunch of good stuff here because sometimes, sometimes belief is in and out because you're working so hard and you're not seeing anything. And, having these things to look at the affirmations, people like you, it's huge because we all connected and we all need each other.
Absolutely.
Whether we believe that or not, we all do, because that human interaction is important for all of our development.
Absolutely.
All of our development. And you sometimes you hear sort of the same thing from, you may hear this from somebody else and it may not kick in. Then you may hear that same thing from another voice and that aha moment hits.
Right. Absolutely.
And it's just, you gotta, and as adults we're no different than children. We gotta keep hearing it.
Right.
We gotta keep, somebody gotta keep saying it.
Yes, the drip factor.
Yes,
Drip,
we
drip,
learned the new
drip.
term last night, the drip factor.
You drip on people. People get dripped on.
Yeah,
That's why we're here. We've got dripped on. You know,
yes.
little bit by little bit, something came in, and then finally you find yourself in action.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know, and that's what I'm really hoping that our audience takes to heart some of the things that you've said and maybe listens to this twice, because this is worth listening to a few times.
Yes.
Make sure that they get these nuggets that you've given about sales, about personal growth and affirmations. You've given a lot of information and it's been
Yes.
powerful and positive and wonderful. And I certainly have benefited from it.
Well,
You
thank
know,
you.
so I
Likewise.
thank you so much for your forthrightness. Like you said, you're bold, and and it shows and it comes off as a wonderful experience. So your clients are very, very blessed to have you.
I appreciate y'all inviting me. I'm very excited and going to get out there and change this world, all of us.
I know, that's right. One person at a time. That's the same
Absolutely.
road we're on, changing lives and having people like you, because people need to hear voices. They need to hear different voices pretty much saying the same thing in their own way.
Absolutely.
So again, how can people get in touch with you?
Catherine Ann Clayton on pretty much all the platforms. Instagram, it's Bold Biz Solutions.
Okay.
And like I said, if y'all share this podcast and you put in there, or you find me on, any of the platforms, you need to say, hey, I found you on Just Minding Your Business podcast, and I'll give you that free consult call.
Alrighty.
I call it my Blueprints to Profits call.
Okay, I
I
like that. Blueprints to Profit. I'm writing that one down.
My goodness.
Well, thank you so much, Catherine. You have been a blessing, and so many nuggets, and you will be back.
All right, I would like that, and I'm going to share this with my audience and encourage them to go and like the podcast and do all the things that they're supposed to do.
Absolutely.
There you go. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you. We appreciate you wholeheartedly.